Yeah, this is...
תקפו. ברוך אלה. אני הולך לדבר קצת עכשיו.
Were you in Yomit? Did you live in Yomit?
No.
Are you related to Chemda Tamir? Chemda Tamir?
She's not my wife.
Oh, no, a relative.
Yes.
Yes. Is she here in the hotel?
I think so.
Oh, would I be able to also, would you be able to help me find her? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, ma. So what I have to tell you?
Say how you're being treated.
מה זה treated?
How the government, the Safnut.
איך פינו אותי?
Yeah, from...
ביום שלישי בערב, 15 לאוגוסט, נכנסו אלינו שני קצינים בשעה 11:30 בלילה והודיעו לנו שאנחנו צריכים לעזוב את הבית תוך חצי שעה. זו הייתה הפגישה הראשונה שלנו עם המפנים. אני שאלתי אותם כמה שאלות, איך אני יכול לעזוב את הבית שלי תוך חצי שעה? איך אני יכול לארוז את הכל? לא היה להם תשובות על שום דבר, על שום שאלה. לא היה להם תשובה גם לאן אני הולך. לא היה להם תשובה גם לכמה זמן אני הולך. בסופו של דבר, הפינוי שלנו התחיל ביום חמישי בשעה 12 בצהריים, והוא נמשך עד שעה 10 בלילה. הייתה אצלנו קבוצה גדולה מאוד של נערים ומשפחות שהתגוררו אצלנו במשך 3 שבועות, ושהם החליטו שזה הבית שלהם יחד איתנו. עלינו למרפסת והתבצרנו שם במרפסת, אחזנו איש ברעהו וכגוש אחד, כגוש בשר אחד, והתנגדנו לחיילים שבאו לפנות אותנו. בסופו של דבר, אחרי מאבק של 9 שעות, הצליחו לפנות אותנו. הורדנו את המזוזה ודגל ישראל, וכך הסתיים כל המאבק כולו. It's very short.
That's good. It's okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And how do I find Chemda?
If you want to have pictures in the internet
about
our house.
Yeah.
And yes.
Okay, so you can speak in Hebrew or English, whatever you're comfortable with.
I don't mind.
You'll tell us your name and how long you lived there and what you did and how you've been treated, and, whether the government has come here or Jewish agencies, whatever, post-evacuation, how you've been resettled into your new home, with a swimming pool and everything else. Hot sauna, you have a hot tub and everything, right?
Oh, sure. My name is Meir Moller. I've been living in Gush Katif with my family for 7 years.
You just step over because when the light is behind you, it makes you become dark.
I see. It's okay now, like this?
Well, your face is going to be dark. Yeah,
like
that's
this.
better.
All right. I don't know if we're not disturbing them here. I think it's not a convenient place.
So where do you want to go? You want to go on the other side? You see over there?
The problem is, maybe you could go outside?
I have a place downstairs by the base of Knesset.
There's also a place.
Whatever's good.
All right. Oh, that's a nice place, all right.
And just speak from your heart. You'll tell us your name and what you did there.
All right. My name is Meir Moller. I was living with my family in Gush Katif for 7 years, and I used to teach in various places there. And now we are in Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem, in a hotel.
In the closet in the hotel.
In a closet in the hotel, exactly. We would, believe me, we would prefer to be in our old home, because the situation here is really grotesque to a certain extent, because we can't really enjoy the food we're eating or the rooms we are in, because we don't know where we're going to go from here. The government really hasn't provided for us the same environment, the same communal environment that we had before. That was our demand right from the start. It's not that it was our official demand, because our official demand was to stay in Gush Katif, of course. And even now, we would like to return to that place, because this is our real home. We've been expelled from our home. We would like to go back there, but at the same time, we said that if we will be forced to leave our houses, we would like to keep the texture, the fabric of our community as it used to be.
What happened to the Jews? Some of them they signed on the dotted line, and what, they have been resettled or something? Why is it that everybody has been thrown into a hotel here? Is it because you're the, quote, rebels who didn't agree to go along with it, so you're being, quote, punished by, and now you've been dispersed, so you can't organize a effort to be, against what has been done? Or is this what has happened to everybody from Gush Katif?
Well, the government expected that by half a year ago already, 90% of the population of Gush Katif would already be settled elsewhere. But this didn't happen. The vast majority of the inhabitants of Gush Katif stayed on to the very end, because we always believed that there might be a possibility, there might be a miracle which would enable us to stay in our house.
Yeah, and that the government wouldn't do such a heartless thing to their...
Yeah, deep inside we believed that such a horrendous thing wouldn't be able to happen, to evict people against their will from their houses, to tear them away from their homes and their communities and their jobs. This kind of thing, we believe, couldn't happen in a Jewish state.
And how is this different than Yamit? Because they did it before.
In Yamit, 95% of the population left Yamit beforehand. They settled for compensation. They found other places. Only 5% of the original inhabitants of Yamit were there in the time of the evacuation. The people who were struggling in Yamit mainly came from outside. But in our case, as I said already, 80%, about 80%, even more, of the population of Gush Katif stayed in their houses to the end. Most of the population of Neve Dekalim, for instance, Neve Dekalim I know for sure, we didn't even pack anything. I didn't pack anything, even not one piece of furniture. I was torn away from my house in a regular way of life, and I found myself in a complete confusion. I was torn away from everything I knew, everything I cared to bring up. A work of years has been broken.
It's been portrayed in American media. Any video that has been shown, it's always that it's young people who are behind barbed wire on roofs of buildings, and they're throwing boiling water and acid on the soldiers who are doing their duty for the good of the country, and that your renegade, quote, settler, religious zealot fanatics who want to hold on to any piece of the Holy Land, and that you're breaking the law in order to serve your minority views, whereas the rest of the country, under law, because Sharon has made and his cabinet have made a decision despite there not being a referendum, but you're portrayed as these hooligans. You don't seem to me like most of the people here seem not like the kind of video that you see, in the West, and that you pour acid and boiling water, and you were sitting in your home and people just came and took you out, and that was it.
Basically, yes, but this is a long story. However, relating to those youngsters who were in those places, their various places, first of all, I wish to say that we appreciate their activities very, very much. And secondly, they didn't spill boiling water on soldiers. It's a lie. They didn't even spill acid. Nobody was wounded. Nobody was injured.
So why is it shown that the soldiers had to take off their shirts and run
Because
away?
there was turpentine thrown at them that's what I was given to hear, and also vinegar. It itches the skin, but it doesn't damage anything. These people were very, very delicate. They could have been much more violent if they would really want to, but they're really the most loyal people to the causes of the nation, the most loyal to the real interests of the country, and we really appreciate what they have done, and they've been besmirched.
Why is that you appreciate what they have done?
Because if we would have only left without a struggle, then the government and the rest of the world would say, well, these people leave very easily. We had to show that there is a struggle. On the other hand,
Or that you're not in agreement. That
Yes.
this wasn't his.
That this wasn't in agreement
with the with the country. He didn't make a national referendum, and this is not really what the most the general Joe average guy on the street,
No, this decision taken by the Prime Minister was done in the most undemocratic way possible. He first of all, he refused to a referendum, which is accepted by many European countries as an outlet for very grave discussions within the society. Secondly, he made a whole deviation from his previous promises before the election. Before the election, that was exactly the argument he had with the leader of the opposition. He got the majority because he was against these views. So the people elected him for sticking on to Gush Katif and not for evacuating it. That is the first thing. Secondly, he himself said that he'll hold a referendum amongst the members of his own party. He did that, and he committed himself to adhere to any decision taken by the members of his own party. And afterwards, he simply ignored it completely. Not only that, but he threatened people. He threatened people who were opposed to him that they might lose their jobs. And he seduced other people to support him, and as a result they'll get all sorts of ministerial jobs, and that's what he did. He didn't let the members of the Knesset even to agree according to their real conscience. He put a lot of pressure in order to seduce people or to frighten them on the other hand.
And so what happened? Has any representative of the government been here, or various Jewish agencies to help resettle you? What is your status?
I must say that the government worked very efficiently in evicting us, in expelling us from our homes, from our beloved land where we were living very successfully and very happily. But the government failed completely in accommodating us, in finding alternatives for living, for working, for everything we had. Our communities have been completely destroyed. People are now without houses, without jobs. They aren't compensated as they ought to be. The compensation is not enough to build a new house or to start a new life. It's the situation is terrible. We turned into refugees in our own country.
Considering that this country was founded as a country of refugees, from the Churban, Anything else that, what was it like when you were sitting there? Or where's all you said you didn't have a chance to pack or anything? All your furniture, just what has happened?
No,
All your
they
belongings?
told us, they told us. One of the things they did is that if you don't pack until a specific date, you
Yeah.
lose many rights.
Yeah.
That was also a psychological pressure on
Yeah.
us, exactly like the huge amount of troops which
Yeah.
marched in and tried to demoralize us and demoralize also people from outside who tried to help us. Also, the media collaborated with the government by reporting that most of the people of Neve Dekalim have left before the evacuation, in spite of the fact that most of the people were there. Not only that, but huge trucks who were supposed to evacuate belongings of the people, so to speak, they were roaming about the streets there, and by this creating an atmosphere as if most of the people were, really ordered them, but it was not true. They were there because the government wanted to create an impression that many people are going to leave, but that wasn't true at all. So the government was waging a psychological war against us, and also against people from the rest of the country who tried to help us, in order to demoralize us and them, so that the army could succeed in doing this terrible thing.
And so, what has happened to all your personal belongings now? Because you didn't.
Well, I returned at the beginning of this week to Gush Katif. I loaded it on a truck and I put it in some warehouse. I'm paying a monthly payment for that. And in the meantime, all my belongings are there. I don't have a house. My furniture is all stored there, and that's it.
You were able to pack up all your other stuff, and I guess you had to throw them all in boxes, or
Yeah, we had to store them in boxes and put the boxes there in the warehouse, and that's it. I don't have anywhere to remove them to.
Yes.
I can't use
Yeah.
them. I don't have access to them at the moment.
Yes. So it's a sad commentary on a country that you look to as your protector, and certainly Israel is different than many other nations, because it's a small country, and most everybody feels like family, aside from the religious ideology, that we're all Jews and brethren. It's a very close country, and everybody has been through many good and bad experiences together, and and as a government that is governments as an institution were created to protect their citizens and provide services to their citizens. It's now the other way, where the government has empowered itself to do whatever it decides, despite the feelings of its citizens and the consequences to its citizens.
Exactly. It was an action of coercion that the government has done towards the people. It created rifts that I doubt if they'll be able to be mended even within years. It has actually
created a mistrust.
It has created a mistrust amongst the population. We, for instance, feel very much betrayed by our country, by our government, and we are quite disappointed by the behavior of the army, even though we know that many major units of the army refuse to participate in that, but they keep it quiet. They don't want to publish it. But other people, mainly people who had jobs in the army and cared about their careers, they felt they didn't have any choice, but they had to participate in this terrible thing. But it caused a very great rift in the army, and I'm sure it created gigantic psychological problems to many soldiers who participated in it, because they could feel they're really participating in a crime.
Yeah. Anything else you care to say?
I wish to say that I think that basically this measure taken by the government, which doesn't have any logic at all, there was an argument that it was for purposes of demography because the Arabs are becoming very many and we have to separate us from them. But Gush Katif was an isolated area. It could have been easily combined to the rest of the state of Israel, and it didn't have anything to do with the Arab population in Gaza, which was already in the hands of the Palestinian Authority. Not only that, but it was a great boost to terrorism. Terrorist organizations all around the world now gain a lot of encouragement due to the fact that we have retreated from an area without any price paid to us for it. So now they see that their way was right, and terrorism is about to enhance both in Israel and in Europe and even in the United States, unfortunately, due to that. And another thing is that there was a lack of loyalty to the land of Israel, the land that has been promised to us by God, and I think that this is the main weakness of the government. The government doesn't have anything it really believes in. It has a lack of faith, and this is where we have failed. The people in Gush Katif are people of faith. We believe in the promises of the Almighty God to the people of Israel. We believe in the commandment of the Almighty God to us to settle the land. And this is the future of Israel. The future of Israel is in loyalty to our values. If we deviate from our values, we don't have anything to look for in the Middle East.
Where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here?
Where do the people of Neve Dakalim and Gush Katif go from here?
Well, we don't exactly know. We are searching various places in the country, and there are still quite a few views amongst us in which area is exactly suitable for us as a community. One thing we want to ensure is that we would go together. If it will be possible or not, it remains to be seen. But this is the will of everyone in Gush Katif, because we realize the special quality of the people, of the communities, the collaboration, the special relationship between the people in Gush Katif. We want to preserve this as much as possible. We don't want the government to succeed in crushing us completely.
Okay, thank you very much.